Thank you for joining in. It's always good to check audio um, and video. So um, let me know if you can, Darren, if you're still there, let me know if you can see me and hear me and all that good stuff. So anyway, Saturday. Um, yeah, it's Saturday somewhere. It's good. Joe, thank you for the feedback. So as you know, regular schedule, right? There's some few discussions, stuff like that. So that I want you to start thinking about as you look for land and with anticipation of building something. Okay. So I believe the topic is what is more important, the size of the home or its location. Okay. So in a perfect world, you will want to find a perfect house or build a perfect house in a perfect location. But seeing this is not, we don't live in a perfect world, you most likely have to choose one over the other. And so I'd like to share with you some of the factors you should be thinking about depending on whether you want to, whether size is the most important thing to you or the location. So and then if there's maybe a medium way to, which would be to be somewhere not too far, but also right be able to be the size. So I know Joe is saying location, 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 right? So you heard that before. So and so what I'm going to start. So I'm going to start with the size per se. So size, obviously, you if you have a growing family, you have a lot of people, or maybe not right now, but in the future, and that kind of stuff. The size of the house becomes something that becomes very, very important to you. Okay. So, and you also, if you think about accommodating for, more space for guests, or sometimes you are downsizing, right? You have a big home in the West and you are moving to Africa or building in Africa, and you wanted something a little bit smaller, right? So you have to factor all that in, and stuff like that to make that decision. And some of the things that also affect, if you go with the location, I see a lot of location here. So some of the things that if you go with the location, that end up affecting the size is actually because, for example, if you're buying, some places, those high end neighborhoods in Ghana, you could be paying as ridiculous as $100,000 or $200,000, right? So not a lot of people have that kind of money to either to buy that land, also, build a big size home. And so maybe because of the price of the land is affecting your foundation, which is in turn going to limit, that kind of stuff you are going to build. But for the location folks, so one of the things you have to factor in is if rental is something on your mind, location becomes really, really important. I'll stop here and give you a little bit shout out. So Darian is here, Joe, Chaos, Emmanuel is here, Atajinfi, and Kwame. Thanks for tuning in. And so I'll continue with the locations. Obviously, rental, if you think about rental, then location becomes a very, very important factor, right? Some place that people can rent and have access to certain things, right? Another thing too, if you have school age children, right? So sometimes, if you want to make sure the best schools are in certain areas, then location becomes another important thing that you must factor, to be able to make sure that the kids are going to some of the best schools. Because the more closer you are to these locations, if you can afford it, the chances that they will have to attend these schools than being have to commute. And sometimes too, if you're planning to maybe sell the home, in the long term, then you also have to factor in location, right? So, um, and that kind of stuff, because if that place become a desirable location, or it's a desirable location, you can get more for your money. And one thing also you have to factor in as far as location is important is, the time it takes to commute, right, to either work or to your businesses, right? So you have to factor that in. You may want to leave somewhere like an hour away, but if you have a business or some work related responsibility, then you have to factor in the time it gets with traffic to get there back and forth. And another location checklist also too, proximity to certain amenities, shopping mall, entertainment centers, or even like cultural sites, recreational places, and that kind of stuff. If you have a family and you want to make sure that you can easily go to these places, then living 2 hours away is going to just take you out of that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily wrong or right per se. It's about what your needs, right? If you are retired and and you don't want to be in the middle of the city or stuff like that, you can just go out there and enjoy that peace and quiet. But you also have to factor in too is for medical reasons too. You want to stay close to a place that if anything happens, you can get access to hospital and that kind of stuff. So it's a bunch of stuff that you have to factor in, right? Now, regardless of whether you go for location or because for size, because you didn't have to pay $100,000 for land, so you're able to get a land 5,000 whatever, and you take that money, invest into building the house and that kind of stuff. There's certain things that it has to be maintained, right? So one is the community. So regardless of which way you're going, the community that you are buying the house from, want to build, is very, very important, right? Let's say you want a quiet neighborhood and all of a sudden around you, the entertainment centers and businesses opening, guarantees traffic is going to be there, it's going to be noisy, right? So regardless of which route you go, community, the neighborhood is very, very important. And if you are buying the house, regardless of where it is, you have to check the condition, right? The age and all that stuff factors in, because sometimes they're selling for cheap and you feel like you have to put a lot of money into it. So you have to check for the age and that kinds of stuff. Obviously, price and budget is always important, no matter where you are building, to make sure that it's feasible for you. Also look at the crimes in the neighborhood, whether it's far away or whether it's in the city itself. You have to factor all these things in so you can make contingency plans and that kind of stuff. And always one of my favorite is what? Layout, right? So no matter what you build and where you build, layout should never be compromised, right? Layout, and then obviously layout and size, which can be sometimes compromised due to the moolah you have, right? And another thing that should never be substituted is the quality of construction, right? So it is very important to consider that low quality construction can really affect your living standard and everything. So you have to factor that in to make sure you use a high competent team such as ourselves, so to deliver for you. Okay. And then another thing you have to factor into, the property where it sits on, right? So it's very, very important to consider that you also make sure you have backyard and all that kinds of stuff. And so just make sure you're maximizing both the interior and then the outdoor space and that stuff. So getting the large vegetation, greenery that you want and that kinds of stuff. And then above all, finally, is the emotional appeal, right? So emotional appeal will be, building something that you can really love and enjoy, right? You can really love and enjoy for a long time, because you're about to put all this money in. And so make sure it's going to be something that you want. You can see yourself, enjoying it now and also into the future. And so you have to factor everything in. All right. And so, so these are the few things that I want you to entertain before you make that decision. There's no right and wrong. Even with location, you still have to, do your checklist and make sure that it is a location that you see yourself, being there for a long time, because demographics change, things change, and so you have to factor in. But ideally, I'm posting the link here if you want to join and share what you think. There's a link over there. You can. So ideally, what you want is actually not being too far out, and kind of have the best of both worlds and stuff like that. So you can be closer to work, your businesses, amenities, and also you can have like the quiet time. And so that is different for certain people. Some people is 20 minutes, certain people is like an hour. So whatever that you decide, is just you have to make sure that you factor in you doing your homework, right? And if you are struggling, finding something, reach out to us, and we can sort it through with you to help you maybe figure something that's going to work for you, and also now in the future. Okay. So like Andy said, location is very, very important, to some people. So it's like, I agree, and stuff like that. So if you have a big house and then you don't like the location, or sometimes it can be a pain to just be in there, right? Like Joe said, location, location, location. Okay, then let's see. Location is really important if the house is investment with what needs are quietness and greening space. Okay, that is another perspective. Okay, all right. So and then another one here says it's really about what you can afford. Yes, yes. You always have to figure the numbers and make sure build for self. Don't build for anybody. Don't compete unless you can. But now build something that is gonna work for you. And then make sure you can enjoy it. You are going to enjoy it. That's what matters. Even if it's a 3 bedroom or whatever. If it's something you're gonna be happy, so be it. Okay. So give you the list. Yes. Like if you smash the like button. So I'm ready for some questions. You can just put them in there, and then I'm going to go through them. But here's a link. If you want to join in, and then figure it out, and then I'm gonna keep putting a few nuggets and stuff like that. So you can put in the questions here. So so I've been posting the videos like every Thursday, the video about the house, and stuff like that. So just to give you another take. So my goal for you is, or what I'm attempting to do is to let you know that you are highly capable of doing tremendous things, with even all the limitations we find ourselves in. And so be strong, believe in yourself, and the thing that older people, I consider myself young at heart. Um, the thing older people wish to have when they look back is being able to go back in their youthful days and have the zeal and the confidence to do things right. Other than that, they don't really regret much about things. So if you are young, young is relative, right? To this thing, this is the time for you to take the bull by the horn and try to get things done. And so as you get older, you can actually enjoy the fruit of all your labor, and that kind of stuff. So we're working against the biological clock. Nature, you can only slow nature down, but you cannot reverse it. So just this is the time to aggregate your finances and stay disciplined, and just live well. They used to say like the best life is in your 20s. I doubt it, because not a lot of 20 years have stuff, right? In 20 years, you're energetic, you're full of zeal, you can party, you can do all that stuff, but you own nothing. you don't have a lot of investment, you don't have a lot of assets. And I'm saying that you can do that in your 30s and 40s and actually live the life that you want. Okay, so just to show you that it can be done, you just have to be smart about things and find the right team to help you. Okay, this location, but safety is most important. So safety should never be compromised. It should never be compromised. I agree. The first thing on the list should be safety. Then everything else is built around that. Um, and but the challenge is what kind of safety, right? There's a lot of things to consider. Okay. Um, so what specifically is included in your pricing? So pricing, I think I took a little bit there, got this last week. So like obviously when we give quotes, we're looking at the quality of work, and the experience of the team. And so that is one. But another thing that we're very passionate about is providing employment, right? Providing employment to these guys because we really want them off the street. We want them to be constructive. And so I'm telling you, employment is really high in Ghana. And so these guys need work. They really need work because it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time because a person is prime, a man in his prime with no way to make money, no way to support his family, gets into desperation. And people are desperate, sometimes somebody has to pay. So when we get contracts or when we build stuff, it's like that. It allows us to be able to deal with this, what I call the social responsibilities. And no location is good, but can you justify paying to apply? Let's say it's like a no. No plot. No plot in Ghana should be worth that, as long as unless there's like gold underneath that. But yes, there's no way to actually justify these places. I agree with you. But people are paying them. Um, you know. And also too, one of the things I want you to think about too is like name your price, right? When I was looking for, the second build, I had my price. That I said, listen, I'm now willing to pay X, if you exceed certain amount for the land. I say, you know what, because I don't really have a desirable place, like a burning desire to live anywhere in Accra and stuff, because I've lived when I grew up, I live in a lot of these, I live in airports, I live in these places, cantonment and stuff like that. That was my route to school for many years. So I don't really have a desirable place to pay that kind of money. So name your price, name your price. Factor in the location and all that stuff in there as well. So, but it's like it's crazy, but even East Legon right now is becoming more commercial. Is moving from residential to commercial. So yeah, you have to factor in that. So but just maybe go outside a little bit and that'll work. Your money will be well spent. Okay. Yes, it is definitely madness. Okay. Joe. All right. Any more questions? So another thing, like I always want you to factor in, take your time. Take your time when you are building or even looking for land, right? Take your time. People are still rushing. Things are coming up. We're hearing them. And so take your time and sort out these things very well. Because um, I'm yet I'm yet to see somebody on YouTube actually talk about the real stuff about land acquisition, right? The unspoken truths per se is very tough. It's very easy. So you have to take your time, work with the right team, and make sure like you protect your assets, right? And so it's very important. You want to do that because you can lose it. or you can get into land litigation. It's a nightmare. You know, I don't want anybody to go through that. It's a nightmare. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy to have no. It's very easy to lose it. Very, very easy. And so you got to be smart. You got to be smart about these things. All right. So other than that, um, um, Sandonia and Trozago Springs. Okay. So you know more about Trozago Springs because I've gone there. So here's the thing. So depending whether you're going to go buy land or buy some of the estates, I want you to read the purchase agreement. Okay, read this purchase agreement very, very well because it looks like I have heard. I've not physically seen the contract, but I've heard somebody, has told me that sometimes you own the building, you don't own the land. They still don't transfer the title. So I'm saying, I don't care what they are telling you when you visit. Get a document, go home, reread it, figure it out, put some notes down there. And if you're buying land in anywhere, you need or buying a property, you need to own the land plus the property. Okay, it is very important. You have to take care of these details. It is very important. Don't get too excited about the property or the location that you don't do your homework. There's a situation that somebody bought a land. I was talking to them last week, and then they found out they bought a property. They found out that the land actually belongs to a whole different person. So now they have to sort all these things out. Okay. So look at those things, and then so that is where you will begin. And then obviously you want to do a building inspection, and then see whether you find yourself living in these kind of communities and stuff like that, right? So at a certain point you will have to do a mental analysis over your emotions and figure it out. If it's going to work, then go for it. Other than that, um, just alternatives. Okay. Um, so usually, well, it depends. There may be times in which trees is going to be an obstruction to where you are going to put your foundation. But usually, when you are clearing the land, the goal is actually you're about to start something, or you're about to establish maybe some foundation or something like that. So other than that, I don't see any benefit of clearing the land per se. But if you have a blueprint and all those things, then you can even go ahead and kind of like start planting your big trees and that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's more to that. All right, so these are the things. It's just you know pay attention, look at it. There's it's like you can't afford to make certain mistakes. It's very, very costly, and because it's like some of these mistakes is what is causing people not to continue, because it's like the setback, and they've lost money, they've lost trust. And so but I look at it like be a winner. These setbacks, learn from them and adjust and move forward. So this question. So now affordable is relative, right? Because anything outside of, like these high end cantonment airports, East Legon and those places, it looks like $10,000 is like affordable, right? It is insane to even think that. But Um, I mean, coming to 25, you could get some 5, 6,000, still do your homework, and stuff like that. You can do that. Even though you B2 or you B2, you have to be careful. Sometimes land litigation, stuff like that. So it's kind of like right now the affordable is like eight to $10,000, within, you know, Greater Accra, and stuff like that. So and stuff like that. So it's just by the end of the way, you have to factor everything in, right? You factor a lot of things in, because let's say you go get a line 2,000, relatively cheap to what is available, and you build this house, and you don't like the place, right? It would have been better paying 10,000 and then building something at a place that is really good. Okay. I'm not gonna give this tip. Move game. Mm-mm. So this is what I would say. Um, there's a lot of videos you see that the foundation is very, very shallow. Usually when you go width, so I'm gonna give you a little bit. Is The width also allows the mason to actually have space to work. If it's very narrow, they don't have room to work. But the depth, dependent, you know, multiple stories and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot of shallow ones. Okay, so but I'm not going to give you our ratio that we use. Okay, um, come consultation and we can figure it out. In terms of locations, 50K is reasonable in a gated community. So it depends. It depends. It really depends. I can't, for me to even say that 50,000, 60K is even reasonable. Like, it's difficult for me to even process, because I will even tell you, I don't still believe any land in Ghana and Accra is worth 50K. They cannot really justify what is there that is worth that, but people are paying 3, 4 times that. So it depends. It depends. You have to justify the reasons why you want to be in a gated community. And I think I did a video about living in a gated community. There's benefit and there's pros and cons to everything. So you have to decide. You have to decide and stuff like that. Security, being able to have like a community type of stuff. Everybody probably would be kind of like around your income level and such and stuff like that. So maybe people who might have disposable income. You might meet people that have expendable funds and stuff like that. So you can maybe collaborate and do other projects. So that's the stuff. Um, but maybe some of the gated community might also come with restrictions, right? And so, but one thing you should look in the gated community is like make sure that what are the laws saying, because sometimes they want you to cough up all the cost for developing all the amenities in the gated community. So read those stuff. Okay. Yeah. So somebody thinks it's a reasonable. Somebody will say no way, right? So it depends. It depends what you're looking at, and also too, we have to be careful at this thing, right? There's this tendency to think that when a company is sending you land, or maybe a gated community, you don't deal with issues. It's not necessarily true. Okay. It's not it's for most part, you don't deal with most of the issues, but I've experienced something, so it's not necessarily true. So I would say do both. The reason being, right? If you're going purely concrete, you have to make sure that that concrete is treated well, right, with water membrane solutions and materials. Is sloped very well for the water to stay off the concrete as soon as possible. Okay, so it has to be done right. Okay, it has to be done right. Um, but usually, when it's security roof, hidden roof, you don't even get to see if you're using the hollow zinc sheet and that kind of stuff. So it has to do that. So leasing, so basically leasing, you're not owning the land per se, because land can is one of the things it can never really own upright. So unless you are the first owner. So it's leasing. So basically we are leasing for 50 years or 99 years, whatever that it is. That is what it is. So we're not actually owning the land per se, we are leasing to that duration. But read those agreements very, very well. I wouldn't worry about 50 years, even 50 years or 99 years. Listen, the Bank of Ghana cannot even keep record for 50 years. So I wouldn't worry about some real estate. Have you gone to their office? They can't keep record. So I wouldn't worry about that, right? But make sure that in the meantime, between the time that you acquire that 99 years, it is yours and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay. Because sometimes they may put certain things that prevent you from transferring it. Okay. This is almost kind of like similar to that. I mean, so back to what I repeated. The concrete roofing. So leakages, right? It's gonna be a big deal. It has to be done well. Um, and so, but if you think about it this way, if you do 70% hollow zinc, right, sloped, and then 30% around east sides of the of the of the house is concrete, slope it well. It is much better to deal with leakages because most of the mass, just like the area surface will be when it rains, it's going to be hitting the sheets, which when if it's installed well, you shouldn't have leakages. So I think the challenge is just uh, leakages, and you have to be worried about that. I think right now if I should do mine, I'm going to do just combination of both. But I'm going to make sure even the 30% as concrete is like I already start looking at things that I can even ship from here to make sure that concrete is like 100% waterproof and stuff like that. So that is the big thing. Okay. We do solar for yes, solar. I'm going solar because um it's a small project, and I'm not gonna bring the bank too much, and there's no room to actually put a generator, which is going to be nice. So I'm going solar. I want it quiet. So obviously quiet. Okay. Um, I would end a year's lease now being forced. Is there a legal president to even worry about this? I would even worry about that. I remember my first land, there was something in there. I believe they were saying that after 9 years was some fee that you pay, but I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, I wouldn't worry about that. All right. So, oh, okay. Just ignore her. Just ignore her. Do you want any divorce friend just line to say in the good so you basically build whatever type of house you want, and the rules and space are in place? Well, so ideally, usually if the road and all that's in place, they tend to charge a little bit higher. So it would be nice if they're a little bit transparent, because sometimes it would be nice. This is what I mean by the transparency. If they can already say that, okay, everybody in the community, we as the developers, whatever, we are going to split it like 50-50 or something like that. So then people know that when they buy these lands and they build, they know that they will have to cough up some of the money to actually put the infrastructure, like the roads and whatever amenities and stuff like that. But sometimes they don't. When they give you the indenture after you've given them the money, they add this stipulation in there, and I don't think it's fair. Right? It's fair. I think people should know. So then they have to factor in whether they can afford these things or not, right? Because so I think it would be a good idea to know. It's not much, it's not much, because I think what they do is like they do assessment of I think my first land, I saw something ridiculous. It was like 20 Ghana cities. I have to look. 20 Ghana cities after that. And I said, not a big deal. So I mean, I haven't heard any scenario that the descendant of some people that a parcel of land that already has property on it are coming to claim it because they didn't want to renegotiate on the lease or anything. Like, I've never heard that. So if anybody has heard that, as of that, they can just post it. I've never. So I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry about that. I would take 50 years, even if the location is fine, because before I leave, I'm gonna, make sure that I take care of what I need to take care of. So I wouldn't worry about that. Okay. Oh, there's I think there's another conversation going on. Yeah. Just be positive. People come here and they say just stay focused. Okay, just stay focused. All right. The thing is that it is my responsibility, to tell you the expectations of what you are going to meet. And I don't even tell you everything. If we should tell you everything, most of you make a U-turn. I don't. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because I'm not bound to anybody. And so my thing is that what I'm saying is that whatever the obstacle is, I'm trying to help you to navigate. Anybody that will tell you you are buying land, you are building, and you don't go through something, is actually a very dishonest person, right? Or you are even started a business and you don't go through things, it's actually dishonest. So just because your favorite YouTuber is not talking about it, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And maybe listen, I'll tell you this. In Ghana, it depends where you move. The beauty of me living in Kaswa is that, you see, I have the privilege to mingle with people that have something when I go out. And when I come home, I'm also within the poorest of the poor. So I can see the extreme, right? And I like that because it gives you a reality check. It lets you know that you can go spend time with people that basically that night they have spent somebody's yearly salary, and then you can come here and people are even struggling to eat. So you get to see that, and so it makes you more informed. So I am not out of touch, as people may like to think. But my goal is that whatever the challenges are, you can overcome as I try to overcome. Okay. Would building apartments near places where the aspirants are settling from Cape Coast be a good idea? So here's the thing. I think I did the rental property last week, right? The question is this, okay? There's this assumption people make that people have this money to spend, even if you are charging 50 grand. The question is that there are only still few of us that can come up with 50 grand right away to pay for something. It's very few. It's very few. Okay. And so, and I'll tell you this, a lot of people talk, they want something, but when it's time for them to show up, we know this. Only 20%, only about 10% of the world are really doers, that they are really, really, the word is good, they're going to step up. If they say, listen, you'll be at 100K, I'll buy it. There's only about 10% of the world. You have a lot of them, they're not going to do it. And so you have to be careful that you invest all this money into these apartments, and then with the hope that you could sell it for a price, and you are not able to do that. If you borrow the money from somewhere, then you have interest to pay and all that kinds of stuff. So you really, really have to go to the ground, or for rent. Yeah, even for rent, even if you're doing for rent, right? Even for rent, you still have to be able to charge, right? Charge at a rate that it is, it makes sense to you, right? If you put 100K in there and the whole month your rent is about $500, is that something that is acceptable, right? Because prom is kind of like way out there. It has is benefits, and so you have to factor in. So you have to work with the numbers to see if actually it will work for you. And if it will work, then you go for it. Well, that America's often is ridiculous. It's all over the place. It depends. Accra is super, super high. But it could be like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, depending on the size of the property. And so it's it's not a uniform cost, right? And then there's other things too about it. I don't want to talk about it here and stuff like that. So um let me see. You see, so this is what I'm trying to avoid. So if I say company A, and then you go there and you have a bad experience, maybe I had a good experience with them, um and then you go there and have a bad experience, I kind of like, I feel a little bit responsible for leading you. I would say, regardless of who you pick, just look at the contract, read about it. Even if there are people occupying that gated community or community, just talk to them. They will tell you their actual experience, right? Than if I tell you go to this company A, because even where I bought it, we went through some issues that one of the guys who was part of our team, he alone wanted to buy a full plot that he left because he just couldn't deal with some of the way things were done. And so, but the other three of us, we hang in there and deal with it. So it's about just doing like your work. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, social cohesion. Yep. So that's some of the benefit. I agree. I agree. Because I agree. I totally agree. 100%. With this, Mr. Lamta. I totally agree. So the reason why it's becoming like that, because there's a real issues that some people don't want to talk about. So people feel like they have to be in, the number one reason people are going to get a community is safety. Is safety. Okay. And that kind of stuff. So there's things going on. Okay. Yeah. So no, so it's true. It's just I feel like there's this thing over there, like the money's out there like that. But it takes a lot to come up with 50. You have to be diligent. 5 bedroom is other house and security post. depending on the layout, is doable. It's going to be tight though. It's going to be tight. Uh, because a 5 bedroom, if you want good size, we're talking about you pushing it, at least 3,500, right? So a 5 bedroom, if you do en suite, you have powder room, you have living room, dining room, kitchen. So you need some storage. You're gonna have pantry, and then maybe you want an office. So, and then now you want like a security post and another house. So it gets tight. So you have to, and that is why I posted that 3D earlier, because just to give you an idea, the positioning layout, how you can place things to just maximize the issue. Somebody's trying to get attention here. Yes. We lost 30K. See? So somebody came in, land issues, they lost 35K. It's true. It's true. So there is issues. Listen, don't let anybody tell you that. And I'm hoping, listen. I will hope your favorite YouTubers are actually moving money and going to these places and start doing this stuff, because you're going to find out really that there's issues. Okay. And what William is saying right now, it's a combination of the land being sold to multiple people. Okay. There's a problem. Okay. So you have to respect people that are engaged and doing this stuff, and they're telling you, listen, there are warning signs here, but it's a way you can navigate it, than somebody telling you that there's no problem. I don't know what those people are doing. They are not putting anything on YouTube, because as far as I know, the people that are doing the real stuff, they are putting stuff over there. When you talk to them, you can see that there's a uniformity of the stuff we are dealing with. But I don't know what other people, I don't know what other people are doing. And so there's a real experience here, because I can pick any of these guys. I can talk to Ashanti Queen. I can talk to, the guys that come on my channel that are building. It's not even a debate. It's not a debate. Okay, it's not even a debate. So don't let anybody close your mouth, right? So, but William, we're gonna fix it, right? We're gonna fix this, okay? And so that is what I'm trying to say. It's like, people actually are going through stuff, and I care about that. Okay, they lost 30K. Do you know how much it takes to come up with 30K? If I lose 30K, man, I'll be trust me. And so it is wrong. It is wrong. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, it shouldn't be like that. Okay. Martin, send me an email. I will tell you how you should do it. Okay. Let me see. Did you see? Oh, so I bought. They wanted more, and so it was 4 of us, and shoot, we were going to get about 8 plus. So we negotiated, wrote down a contract. The guys, everybody on Plow, we told them, this is what we're gonna pay. We negotiated, and so we end up paying about $15,000. So I'm sharing that with you, for that plot per plot. And now it's 25. Okay, it's 25 now, and so that is what they are charging. So as of a couple of months, maybe they've changed it or not. That's 25. And so, but the group that we went, we were solid. We came out with a proposal, and we put things in place, because you can see the land that somebody has built up previously. And we did our homework very well. We actually went and found out who were the original owners. And we put things in place to protect ourselves in the process, and so that's what we did. So it took us about 7 months from the time we started the initial conversation to the time that we got our document. Okay. And that kind of stuff. So, but it was messy. It was, trust me, there was a bunch of, words being exchanged. Most of the time was us just telling them that business cannot be conducted this way. And so we went there with a muscle, and in the end, we were able to get, what we all want and stuff like that. So everybody's different. Oh, I got him. I got Williams. We'll figure something out. Okay. Email. So do email. Soraya Consulting Solutions Gmail.com. So email me, and then we'll figure something out. All right. No, so Kasu, I think strategy use. Okay, consultation. Consultation, because there's a lot of things that I did. So consultation, and then I will show you everything, everything what I did to be able to execute, that magnitude of a house. Okay, consultation. Yeah. So William, stay hanging there. Okay, we'll figure something out. What's up? I hope all is well. Anyway, so let me just let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay, so that is the thing that, so you heard about William coming here and just give you a little bit of what happened, right? So and so that doesn't mean we don't love our country. Listen, I always tell people I may not be easy to deal with because I always want to elevate. You know, if something is done at a lower level, I want to push the envelope. Why not? And so when we challenge our countrymen to live up to certain expectations, that is not hate. That is just saying that, listen, just do the right thing. And so because we expect, you know, when we expect the right things to be done, so we push that, um, because that is real patriotism, to love your country much that you want to challenge it to be better, right? And so we push that. And so we're not going to stop, right? We're not going to stop. So it's just that's the way it is. Um, we want them to do better, and we're gonna. And when things come up that affects people's life, we should be able to talk about them, right? Should talk about. I don't think I've done kind of bashing video. If I did, half of you would not even build. Trust me, would not, would not build. There's no need for me to do that. But I'll tell you, these things happen. These things happen because people, we do consultations, and this thing is happening. 2021, it is happening, right? So it's important that you take that, because maybe it hasn't happened to you yet. You keep spending enough money, something's going to happen. Okay, so just be smart about it, and don't get defensive. Okay. Thank you, bro. I think I'm a cool guy most days. Uh-huh. Uh-uh. My security system will never be shared on YouTube. Never. I have even found some more beneficial things now as I'm building this process. That even when I'm doing my YouTube videos, when it comes to my security part, there will be no video about that because I found that the solution for burglar proof that never shared it because you don't know who's watching. I'm not going to tell you what I do, what I don't do, what I have, what I don't have, and stuff. If you care enough about it, you know what to do, right? But I could never share that. I hope you understand that. Okay. Yeah, So he lost, 50K in Philippines last year, right? You just gotta be careful. That's it. You can even lose the money here. You just have to be careful. Right. So that's what basically we're saying, right? It's happened. When I started building the first house, they said you couldn't build from outside. And the thing that helped me was listening to people who have devastated consequences of trying to build when they're not there. And I took all of them and I came up with a good plan to keep my eyes on things. With that, with a quality team, made the whole process a success. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm saying that with all this mess and challenges over there, it can be done. That's all. Will you share your skill plan if consider about it? Yes. When you come to consultation, there is nothing that I'm not going to tell you, right? There's nothing I'm going to tell you. Nobody has come to consultation and get a refund. Nobody has come to consultation and they said the value was not there. I'm going to give you certain things and then I'm going to tell you this information, this section of this information, keep it to yourself because security is important. And so I'm going to show you how you can do it because I spend more time on this aspect than anything else. I'm always finding the next best thing. When I read about way that criminals are able to get into a house, I take that, I assess it, I see all the weaknesses in there, and then I come with a way to mitigate that. Okay? And so consultation, you get everything. Yeah, it's a good location. I'm hoping if they do the road, there's certain part of the road, if they do it like, I mean, it's gonna be like wonderful, right? And I'm also hoping like, eventually if we can get some overhead on the motorway to that side, that'll be wonderful. And so there's a trade-off, right? There's a trade-off and stuff like that. But I think that it's a good location in terms of the price is creeping up though. Price and not too far from airport and that kind of stuff. So, but you still have to do your homework in terms of who you're buying it from and that kind of stuff. Okay. So then on that, let me see. Thanks for keeping it positive and then chiming in. Appreciate you taking the time to spend time with me today. Take what you need. Um, if you have something that's pertaining to you, let's do a consultation. We can, everybody has different needs and stuff like that. If you live in a condo, um, somewhere on a sky rise, whatever, your security needs are different than detached home and that kind of stuff. So whatever it is, you know where to find us, and we can just talk about it. So just take what you need and be, building a house is a mental thing, right? It's a mental thing, right? It has nothing to do with the smartest people or even people with the most money. It's more like the heart. the determination of if you want it bad enough, you will do it. And that's the difference. That's the difference, right? And so that is what I'm trying to tell you, that no matter where you are right now, with all your flaws, whatever, I got a ton of them, is that you can still go there and every day apply yourself and build something for you and pass that generational wealth, right? So that is what it is. It's not, listen, there's a lot of smart people that can move. There's people with quarter the intelligence, but they actually get things done. So you just got to decide. And at a certain point, there's two emotions, excitement or anger. I actually operate very well when I'm pissed off. I can actually focus, I can actually hone in my determination. Okay, so whatever the energy is, make it constructive, right? So if people think that they don't respect you, if people think like you are nothing, people disrespect you, go win. Just go win. Okay, just go win. That is how you solve it. Don't get into internet beef. Go win. Okay. Drainage is good. There's certain drainage you can control, certain things you can't control, right? But we can talk about that. Come to consultation. You have a ton of questions. You should come. Okay. This question. Okay. Please, how many questions can we get during consultation? I don't. So I'm gonna put it this way. Okay. I'll put it this way. I don't tell you how many questions you bring. Ideally, this is what I'll tell you. Book 1 hour. The 1 hour goes fast. Now, even with the 1 hour, the idea, like if we take you from land acquisition to the time you finish, right? There's so much information to squeeze that in that 1 hour. But after the 1 hour, you have clarity. You'll figure out whether even you can afford the project. You need to, downsize a little bit. You will get a direction. Okay. So the questions, I don't know, because some questions you bring might be more in depth, right? And some might be like 1 minute and stuff like that. So I don't determine the questions. But what I would say is this: when you book the consultation, book it, if it's about building, book it with a building guide. Because the building guide is a 4-page PDF. When you look at it, it's going to give you a blueprint from when you get land, what you should be doing all the way to when you move in. That is going to help you with your questions when you prepare your questions. Because I know sometimes after consultation, people email me like, I forgot this. So that is going to help you prepare the questions, because it's more like streamline. Okay. Because other than that, you are going to forget some important questions. Okay. So it's not about 5 questions, it's not about 10 questions, it's not about 50 questions. It is a type of questions. So I always tell people 30 minutes ain't gonna do nothing. Get 60, buy it with a guide, a construction blueprint, and then look on the guide, and there'll be more things that will help you generate a question. Okay, like if I'm buying land, what should I look for? When I start foundation, what should I do? When I get to roofing, what should I do? When I get to electrical, what should I do? All those are in there. Okay. And so depending on what package you select, because some are just strictly consultation with quote, some are just like building consultation with buying guide or building guide. So depending on what your needs are, you get to pick that package and then you see the price. If you pick anything that has to do with a guide, whether buying or building guide, as you there'll be a link for you to download the PDF, keep it to yourself, don't share it. And that is going to help you see from the beginning to the end the scope of what you're about to do, because I think that will let you know. It'll give you some realities and stuff like that. Okay. So I would say consult. I say consult before you start, because trust me, You're going to save money because you are going to make certain decisions that is going to affect how you start. Okay, there's a lady yesterday who, emailed me about building in some place that super salty. Okay, super salty. I mean, the whole soil is, sealing. Okay, and I said, listen, what you are trying to tell your masonry guys to do, they have not seen it before. So I told her, wait, she should go because that foundation is going to be totally different. I said, the code they gave you, even though I haven't seen it, go save X number of money, come back in a couple of months. We're going to look at it. And then I sent her a picture, how we're going to do it. And I said, you'll be tempted to go give it to those guys because that type of style, you don't see it a lot in Ghana. Okay. So they've never seen it before and they're going to make something over there that's not going to work. Okay. So I would say start, and then you can make that. All right. Other than that, I'm gonna keep it. And thank you very much for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up. It went the hour mark. I never wanted to be, but you guys have great questions and stuff. So this is what I'm gonna tell you. So imagine you're gonna be spending thousands of dollars to do these things, right? Listen, when it comes to building in Ghana, I think I provide some value, land acquisition, that kind of series on this platform. And I'm also showing you what I'm doing for you to see that, there's some level of experience and knowledge to what I'm doing. What I would tell you is this: the idea, even if you don't do business, consultation you must do, because trust me, there's so many things available now. There's technology. There's so many things. There's more efficient way to do things. And we are always reading the new thing, what is going on, how we can make things better. That is going to save you thousands of dollars. Okay, because instead of calling me when they screw up, just purchase that. Okay. There's another way too you can do before I wrapped up. There's a webinar that I have. I just posted a link coming up next week that you can, is the fee smaller, but you're limited to 30 minutes, depending on how many people sign up. There's pros and cons, small fee to get in, but also too, your questions are being shared with other people. So for example, if you have some business idea, the person who also has access to the webinar is going to listen in. They might go and execute your business idea. So when you plan well, you know what you're doing, you are going to succeed. Okay? You are going to succeed. Listen, you are going to succeed. So the issue is that there's certain things that are affecting us because we are not on the ground. Even when you're on the ground, you may not understand these things. So it's better to arm yourself with information so you can dictate some of these things and say, no, I know you want me to do this thing, but it's on step 15. So I wanted to go this, because people have bought the guide and they actually have the contractor build, and they've actually sent the contractor to watch my videos to build. That's what they're telling me. So don't take corners. We did it there for you, because what did I say? If we can help you build, we'll be happy. Okay. All right. So anyway, just testament. So I'm still, next Thursday, another video is going to come in which we do the flowing. So we fill actually the foundation and the mistake we made. And I put that in there because it's a mistake that could happen, not human error, nature, right? So you get to learn that process too and stuff like that. So anyway, I appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. We had 43 people at the height. What's in it? Thank you. I appreciate taking the time. You know where you can find us. Okay. And so I can't wait to see you guys also create your content and you put your videos out there, and you also inspire the next person. And don't worry about it, the witches are not going to kill you. It's cold here, they can, and stuff like that. So win, just go win, right? And believe that with hard work and dedication, you can almost fulfill every dream that you can. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, time. Bye.